Hi guys, welcome back. This is Tarun again, back with another fitness video. So I get these questions a lot, this particular question a lot from people, when they hit a plateau and they reach a stage where they're just about to give up their fitness routine, and because apparently they've tried everything and it has not worked for them. They've tried all the fitness programs in the world, they've tried all the diets, they've tried pretty much every fad in the book so that they could get that result, those desired results which they were looking for, but obviously of no use. So they reach a stage where they just want to give up. So should you give up in that particular scenario? And this is normal for anybody to go through that, because at the end of the day, it is pretty demotivating to say you're doing all the right things. As per you're doing all the right things, but you're not getting any results out of it. So I'm going to tell you in this video things that you can manipulate, things you can do to bring about those results if you've hit a plateau. And remember, there is no hard and fast rule in fitness that if it has worked for one guy, it'll work for another, because our bodies are very different. They react very differently to different training program, and that is exactly why some programs work on few and the others, they just wondering that why the hell it is not working on us. But you should not give up. So here are some of the things that you can do to manipulate to bring about those results. So number one, so if you feel that you're eating right, you may want to do is you want to start writing down what you've been eating, because I'll tell you with my own experience that I thought I was doing all the right things, but what was happening was that I was making a lot of elementary mistakes. I would snack and binge here and there without even knowing, and I would eat something and I would not even calculate that. So one day I started writing. I made a food journal. I'm not saying you should make a habit of having a food journal, because there's already enough data in our life, right from our office to school to college, everything. I'm not trying to complicate things here. But if you want to fix something, just make that food journal for a couple of days, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, depending on how you want to fix it, and see where are you going wrong. And once you start penning down all those things that you're eating, you'll be very, very watchful of what you eat, because that you have to pen it down. So either you will be very hesitant, or you would probably figure it out at the end of 4 or 5 days of analysis that, hey man, I was making so many mistakes. For example, the mistake I was making is invariably I was eating too many snacks. So those diet snacks, probably about one whole packet without actually knowing about it, and that was actually stopping me from getting those results. So that was one mistake that I was making that I thought I should share with you, making a food journal for yourself for a couple of days just to kind of fix the situation. Number two, you also want to figure something out which is in terms of your macronutrients. In terms of what I mean by macro is like protein, carbs and fats. You would realize that we typically tend to eat the same set of food every day. I mean, being an Indian, nobody has told us about carb cycling. Nobody has told us about what kind of macros should we be following. So what we do is some trainers come to us and they tell us this is what you should be eating, and we do the same stuff for the rest of the weeks and week after week after week without actually making any adjustments. So what you may want to do now is you want to just adjust that, manipulate those macronutrients. For example, if you take breakfast of oats and eggs put together, this time probably skip the eggs, just have oats and have whey protein instead. Another example could be in your lunch. If you take brown rice with dal or fish, this time what you may want to do is just have up your protein there, just have more grilled fish or have more chicken or have more dal, just skip the carbs there. So keep manipulating your macro partitioning. So there could be days when you take 60% of your daily intake through carbs, and there could be days where you take 60% of that intake through protein. And sometimes you could manipulate your fats too. Could take it up to 30%, take it up to 50%. The idea for you is to keep cycling it. Don't just get used to the pattern. So the moment you shock it, your body may or will react to it. So this will break that plateau for you. Number three, also in your training, and I've talked about it in one of my videos, that it's very important for you to keep changing your workout intensity. For example, you can't be doing the same workout every day. For example, if you're doing a shoulder exercise on a Monday, you're doing a body part of your shoulder. On Monday, if you're doing 4 exercises this time, why don't you include 6 exercises? And if you've been doing 8 to 10 repetition, this time try to do 4 or 6 repetition. If you're lifting lighter or moderately heavy, go super heavy. So the idea for it is that, if you've made some changes in your diet through improving your food choices and kind of manipulating your macronutritioning, you're also making changes in your training pattern. So it will be a dual effect in your training and in your nutrition put together, which is bound to break that plateau of yours. So keep changing, make some changes in your workout routine. Number 3, what you can also want to do is add I know I've talked about this again in one of my videos, that you should not be doing too much of cardio, because I feel people who have this obsession for weight loss, or they want to get ripped, defined, muscular, often make this mistake of doing too much of cardio. So what you may want to do now is you may want to limit your cardio. Probably there'll be days when you want to run, you're tempted to run on a treadmill, just don't run on that day, or you just pick up a stationary cycle or do some elliptical or cross trainer. If you do it for 30 minutes, hey, do it for 15 minutes or do it for 10 minutes. Keep changing things here and there. Variation, remember, variation is the key which will break that plateau for you. Another thing that I would ask you to do, and this is something you're going to realize in your food journal when you start making. When there are we tend to go out sometimes, we tend to socialize, and we eat a lot of food items which we think are reasonably okay, which actually it's not. For example, when I used to go attend weddings, I was very fond of back then I was eating non-veg, so I was very fond of grilled chicken. So they used to serve those chicken tikkas and stuff like that, and I realized, I used to gorge on it. I used to eat them a lot, thinking that, hey, it's grilled, it's fine, I can eat as much as I want to, it's protein. But then I realized there were many flaws in it. Number one, it was very salty. It was loaded with salt, and salt leads to water retention, which bloats you up. Number two, they use a lot of oil. They just say it's grilled, but we really don't know what goes behind. They use different kinds of oil, refined, whatever it is. Number three, they just don't use chicken breast, which is what you're looking for. They also use chicken legs. Primarily all chicken tikkas are made out of chicken legs, because that's the only way you can make them juicier. So, and chicken legs are the most fattiest of the organ, in a chicken that you can ever find. So that was one of the mistakes I was making. So you may want to check that or double check that if you're making that mistake. For all you know, if you were to stop having chicken legs, hey, chances of you breaking that plateau will be a lot more higher again. Another thing, last thing that I would share with you is something that you may want to incorporate: high intensity training once in 10 days. For example, if you were to do shoulders on a Monday, which I talked about it as part of my second point, what you may want to do now is do shoulders as a superset. Just include all body parts together. Just complete upper body. On that same Monday, probably Monday after that, pick up the complete upper body workout, which includes your shoulder, chest, bicep, tricep, everything. Just confuse your body and do as many repetitions as you can. Just a complete haywire workout. So what will happen is it'll adjust. Your body will just won't know what's going on here. And of course, what will happen is it'll suddenly shock. It'll get that shock and it'll react. And that is a reaction that is actually you want. You want to gauge that reaction from your body, so that you should break that plateau. So long that whatever we are doing, our body is reacting, compared to a situation right now which you're doing everything but it's just not budging. So these are some of the things that you may want to give it a shot when it comes to breaking the plateau. And guys, giving up is never an option, man. If you've signed up for a fitness lifestyle, there will be these days that will come in. There will be phases when you will not get what you want, but those are the times. This will be a true test of you. You have to forget all this and go get your goal, which is going to be what you're looking for with your body. So don't give up. Follow these steps. I'm sure you'll be able to break that plateau. So anyone, if you have any questions around this, feel free to reach out to me either on my YouTube, Facebook, or WhatsApp, and I'll be very happy to help you with your discussion or anything that you may want to know further on this. So till we meet again, peace.